Right, so basically what we're looking at here is all the wiring in place for a starter button to work. Obviously the horn, and I've done a slight variation on the standard one that you'll find on the forum, and basically I've got power ready for a magneto switch that I am going to install here and have it so the LEDs light up when the engine is running. So I know it looks a bit like spaghetti junction, but I'm going to go through everything and explain sort of how it all really works together. So before you begin, probably the easiest thing is to take the steering wheel off, completely strip it so you've got the bare bones like I've done here. I've had to put it back on because I've had to get the car out of the garage, because you really, to get to this, you need to get to the wires under here. You want to take off the speedo cowling bit here, and that's undone by, there's two screws here and it's the top and the bottom bits. You take that off, so that's exposed. Take obviously the speedo cover off here. That is easier to take off if you adjust this up and down like that. Again, also taking this cowling off is easier if you move this up and down as you do it. And then what you've got here, you've got this under bit here that is, there's a screw there, I think, and there is a bolt down there, and then these are just push clipped into these sort of areas here. You can see I've got my foam here designed to stop the thing rattling. And basically just let that drop down. You don't have to completely take it away. You can see here, you have to be careful because you've got the alarm wire there. Oops, where is it there? See that? You know, the flashing LED when the car is alarmed, that wire is there. So I've just basically pegged it up so it just hangs out of the way. So looking at the wires inside the steering wheel, what you'll have here is, this is your horn wire, and this is just the live power. It's always live. You can see I've labelled it up here, power horn, and basically that is just connected into this spinner thing. I've just extended it here with a wire, and it's got this connection thing on here that plugs into my horn button. Likewise, the earth for the horn is here. I've labelled that up accordingly. The steering wheel here, this metal is a great earthing point. It's actually the earthing point for the horn on the original MR2. So, and the way you can do this is the cowl that attaches to the back of the wheel. You'll see it should be secured. I've got some sort of countersunk screw bolts that go through the back of it, through here, and then stick up here. So what I've done, as you can see, is I've got, if you can imagine the things on, the labels are in the way. If you can imagine the things on here, and then this bolt is sticking through. It's bolted so the thing is secure, and then I've got this these earthing points on these little hook things, or they loop things. I'll take it off like that. Oh, like that. So then that earths like that, and you know, you can stick the nut back on like that. So there you go here. So this bit here, these are your airbag wires people talk about, right? Now, one of these has a 12 volt current in it when the ignition's on, and one has a 0.1 of a volt current when the ignition's on. So the best thing to do is use a multimeter and put one point to here, and test the other one and see which one has the current when you turn the ignition on. So this is a multimeter here, and you have you know, you have the live and the earth. You can set it to what voltage you want. So we're looking for 12 volts, and then you test it. So basically I found out which one has power, right, and it's this one. In terms of colour, it's a blue wire, and then the other one is sort of like a green and yellow wire. Anyway, the key to all this job is to be organised and to wire and to label stuff up. So what I've done here is I've labelled up, this wire is going to be my power for my magneto switch, and then this wire is going to be the earth for my starter button. So the way the whole starter button works is basically you've got these two wires here that go into this thing in the steering wheel, and that's called a spinner, and then and inside this yellow sort of circle thing is like a load of coils and wires and that, and it just enables power wires to be basically come from outside the car or outside the steering wheel, which is this plug here. You see it, yeah? And then basically those wires come through and transmit power through into the steering wheel. So obviously these are your airbag wires originally, but what we do is with the starter button, and this is no different to how I do it or how other people have done it without the magneto switches. Basically what happens is when you push your starter button, all you're doing is making an earth connection for the relay, which you wire up, and all the other wires go to the various wires that we'll go through in a bit. Basically all that's happening is you're making an earth connection for the relay, and it, coupled with everything else, that's what starts the car. Now traditionally what people have done is literally use both of these wires to wire up to the starter button, and they have the two wires coming out here, they go straight to the starter button, and then when that's pushed, that creates the earth, and then the wires on the other side, one goes off to the relay and the other one is earthed separately. But we've done it slightly different, and we've got a diagram here, and this, me and Phil worked this out, well, Phil did most of it, but I worked out the thing for the magneto switch. Basically this will be on my log and you can see clearly what we're doing. So all we're doing now is basically you're going to use one of these wires for the starter motor, which is this one. So this is it here. I've labelled it earth starter, and basically this end will go to the one end of the starter, and then this other end here, which is earthed, will go to the other bit of the starter. And when these two are joined, i.e. when you hit the button, that creates the earth that sends it through the spinner, out the other side and into the relay. What we also found is, obviously we found that there was this, we needed some power for the magneto switch, and we got this 12 volts that's always that is live when you turn the ignition on. Other people, what they do, they will cut the power and relay that up, and connect that up to the relay, but we're not doing that in this case. So this is the DIN plug that goes in the bottom of this spinner, you see, bottom of the steering wheel bit. And here, this is what you read about, people talking about the yellow and the black wire, which is that one, and then the yellow wire. Now, if you do it the traditional way without the magneto, you cut both of these, you use one to send to the relay, and then you use the other one and you earth it somewhere in here. We're doing it slightly differently here. So the power for the magneto, we know that this yellow and black one, right, is always powered, yeah? It's got power coming to it because historically it powered the MR2 airbag. So there's no point cutting this, but we just need to find out which one, obviously we have now, has the 12 volt power, and it's this one. So I've labelled it up here, and that obviously that one goes through the spinner, and it comes out and it powers this one here. Sorted. The other one, the one with the tiny amount of power, we're going to cut anyway. So we've cut it here. I've labelled it up. This is going to be my earth to number 86 on the relay. So I've labelled that up there. Here's the bit at the other end that I cut, and I've just basically blanked it off because it's not in use anymore, because we're not using it for the airbag. So now our wiring is done here. So what I've got here is, so this earth, so this is ultimately connected to the starter button, i.e. creating an earth to send it to the relay. So I've labelled that all up, and that's basically the earth. You probably can't read this, but it just says starter to number 86, right? So there we go. So that's that side of things taken care of. So now we want to look at the ignition wires, right? So basically, obviously, here's the key, and then here is some wires coming out of the ignition. Now what I do is I can take this DIN plug out, and I can show you more clearly. Hang on.